HSLDA Consultant Resources for Special Needs Military Homeschooling Families. This is our second live in our series on special needs military homeschooling. Last month, in part one, we talked about navigating the EFMP as a military homeschooler. And for those who are not military, EFMP is Exceptional Family Member Program. Next month, our guest will be Keisha Rami, and we will be discussing using the EFMP for our special needs military connected child. So please definitely look for the calendar invite to join us. So how can HSLDA support you? Well, let's chat today about the resources that we offer in our special needs consulting department. We appreciate you joining us today. Would you be willing to go ahead and share this live right now in your homeschooling community so we can expand our reach? My name is Natalie Mack, and I am the HSLDA Military Community Outreach Coordinator. I'm also a retired Navy chaplain's wife and homeschooling mom of 5. 4 have graduated and gone on to college and graduate school, and I have a current 10th grader. One of the components of our military community outreach program is to provide you with military-related homeschooling content via a monthly Facebook Live such as this one today. There are so many more facets of our outreach program, and we welcome your feedback as we continue to expand. So to all my fellow military homeschooling parents joining us on Facebook today, we are so glad that you are here. Will you please go ahead and let us know in the comments where you are joining from? Also, if you have any questions, please go ahead and put those in the chat in the comments. And as we have time, we will get to your questions towards the end. Thank you so much for joining us. So today, joining me to discuss our special needs resources is Faith Berens. Faith, thanks for joining us today. Faith, please tell our viewers who you are and a bit more about your homeschooling journey.
Sure. Thank you for having me, Natalie. I'm really excited to be with you and be with viewers today. So like Natalie said, I'm Faith Berens. I'm one of the special needs consultants on staff here. I do work part-time. I'm a homeschooling mom of 2. We recently graduated our daughter,
Yay!
who's 20. Yes, I did it. I actually did it. And we have a 13-year-old son that's still at home. So that's a little bit just about me as a homeschool mom.
Okay.
Yeah, but prior to homeschooling, my husband was military.
Yes,
he was in the Army.
Fellow mil spouse.
That's right. So we weren't homeschooling at the time because we didn't have kiddos then. But yeah, so I taught for the Department of Defense.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Keep it secret.
I taught for the Department of Defense, DoDEA schools, and we lived in Seoul, Korea for 2 years, and just really loved being a military spouse and loved the military community. So I was super excited when you asked if I would do this Facebook Live because I just really love to support military families in any way that I can. And I know that special needs homeschooling is a challenge in and of itself. Exactly. And then you add the challenge of being a military family.
Right.
And if you're deployed or your kids have special needs, and then, to navigate all those challenges of how do we get help and support and stuff. So I was really excited to be a part of the conversation. And so I come as former military. I'm a homeschool mom, but I'm also a special needs consultant and taught private school, Christian school, homeschool co-op, and DoDEA. So that's a little bit about me.
Yes, that's awesome. I love it. And so when as I've gotten to know you, I said, Faith would be great for this to come on and just share with our viewers about the special needs and your experience and your compassion and just your wealth of knowledge. And so thank you so much. We're good friends outside of this. That's a good thing. So, all right. Welcome again to our viewers. Please go ahead and let us know where you are joining us from. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, please. So, all right. What's your own experience in serving families with special needs?
Well, it's kind of broad. I mean, for the past 20 years, like I said, I taught in private school. And so my experience came from private school as well as being a dyslexia specialist.
Okay.
And so with the Department of Defense schools, when I was teaching, we had some pretty large class sizes, but I would say on an average of 8 to 10 students in the classroom had specific diagnoses. And so you have a big gap, and those special needs run the gamut. One year I had a little girl who, chronologically, age-wise, she was 9, but she was functioning developmentally because of intellectual disabilities. She was functioning more like a preschool student, and she also had a seizure disorder. And so with homeschooling, of course, everybody runs the gamut. I mean, we take calls and emails from our members, children on the autism spectrum, children with intellectual disabilities, gifted students, or twice exceptional, or visual processing problems or dyslexia. So you name it. But my background is more of the dyslexia and reading disabilities, expertise. But
that's your expertise, right? Dyslexia. Okay. All right. So as you're coming in, I see someone coming in from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Wow. I was at MCAS New River. So welcome. Thanks for coming in. So I wanted to go ahead and say that HSLDA members can get one-on-one consultation from our educational consultants for pre-K through high school, as well as for help with teaching special needs children. So what's the process if an HSLDA member is watching and listening to this conversation or watching the replay later? What's the process for members to receive a consultation from the special needs team?
Sure. So they can either call in to our 540-338-5600, main line and ask, may I speak to a special needs consultant? And then our receptionist would route them to our department. So that's one avenue. They can certainly email our department at specialneeds@hslda.org.
Okay.
And then also through our website, hslda.org, /contact, there is a place on our website where people can basically put in a web request.
Okay.
And then they have some options that they can pick as to indicate the nature of their question, and then those come funneled to us. So, and we have a team, so we're happy to take calls or emails, and people can set appointments as well.
Oh, that's awesome. So we're going to get into now talking about the team that you just mentioned. Dr. Douglas is here. Thank you so much for joining from Cheyenne. Thank you so much. Appreciate your support. Lisa Matson, homeschooling one teen on the spectrum, also with ADHD and dyslexia. Thanks, Lisa, for joining. All right. And I see we have the contact number there that Faith mentioned, as well as the email to reach out and to request services. So definitely, thank you so much. So how many special needs consultants are on the team, and what do they specialize in?
Yeah, this is exciting because when I first came on board, it was myself and 2 other ladies part-time, and they were awesome mentors to me.
Wow.
But now we have 5 in our department, and it's really a wide spread of expertise, which is so powerful and so exciting. So
what a team.
What a team, right?
So,
So we have Dr. Rochelle Matthews Somerville, and she is our team leader of our department. And her expertise is autism, as well as behavioral and communications.
Awesome.
And then we have Dr. Sherry K. Sessions on staff, and she is actually a pediatric physical therapist.
How cool.
Get this, y'all. Homeschool mom, single, adoptive kids, has a daughter who's deaf. She is rocking it, homeschooling as a single parent and with special needs. And she has such compassion and love for other people, and just really is so supportive. So she is a gem to us, and we're so excited to have her on our team. And Joyce Blankenship is a learning specialist, and I've worked with her for a long time. Homeschooling Mama 5, her specialization is through the National Institute of learning differences,
Okay.
NILD, and I also have a certification and training through them as well. So we share
Okay,
that.
great.
She has real life experience of homeschooling too, a child with attention deficit and navigating, transitioning to college, things like that, and some other of her own, girls learning differences because we're all unique. We all have our own strengths and weaknesses.
That's what I was thinking also. We all learn differently in some capacity, right? And so, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So she brings that to the table as well. And then we have Krissa Wynn on staff.
Yes, Krissa.
And Krissa is an early childhood specialist. And she is dyslexia trained through Take Flight, which is through Scottish Rite's dyslexia program. So that is some about our team, but they're all wonderful homeschooling moms with lots of varied experiences, personally as well as professionally.
Yes. I did not know that Joyce is a homeschooling mom of 5, or that she homeschooled 5. I did not know that. So yeah, an awesome team. And I know these ladies personally because when I first started here at HSLDA, it was a high school educational consultant. So we all work really well. It's just a great team of ladies. So I shout them all out, and I'm thankful Faith was able to be here. And so you also mentioned some of your background and how you got in. So being a dyslexia trained interventionist. And so you mentioned homeschooling your son, auditory processing disorder. Okay.
Yeah.
And a daughter with a specific learning disability. So as you can see, viewers, the expertise is here, definitely. And so I'm excited that she's able to share that with you today. So military families voluntarily enroll in the EFMP program. But then finding someone to help them establish a game plan is often challenging. So how does your team help?
Well, one of the, biggest ways we help is to try to help them line up supplemental support.
Okay.
Because oftentimes, and this isn't just for military families that have kids looking for support through EFMP, but oftentimes, even though you're getting some private therapy and support, you still need more. It's not enough. And everybody's stretched.
Yes.
And
that's the reality.
Yeah. And so one thing we do is try to help connect them with other ways of getting support. And that could be like helping them find a private tutor or a therapist, because a lot of times homeschooling parents want to outsource. You could feel perfectly comfortable teaching math,
right?
But I wouldn't, because I actually have a specific learning disability myself and dyscalculia. So I would feel comfortable as a homeschool mom teaching, my kids reading or something else, but I would want to find a therapist or a tutor. And so many of our military families, their homeschooling, are in the same boat where their kids may be getting some support, but it's often not enough. So they want to line up supplemental services. So they'll want to know, well, where can we do that, or how can we do that? And we help them put together a plan, find the resources they need, maybe a certain intervention that they could actually deliver at home. And so that's where those private phone consultations that we do come in handy, because we help them problem solve. We listen to their unique situation. Where are you going to be? What's available to you there?
Right. That's what I was going to say.
Yes. And then we can help them customize, because we want them to know that, yes, homeschooling is possible, and it's possible for you as a military family. But we often need to help connect them with the resources and the how-tos to make the plan so that they do feel that, yes, this is possible.
Right. Usually that's the question. I know, for military families constantly moving around, is like, we establish support systems in one duty station and then we move again. And so, and finding the support network is the biggest challenge, or one of the biggest challenges, right? And so having someone such as you and your team, that the special needs team, where members can contact you and say, oh, we have orders to, Fort Hood, Texas, or Camp Lejeune or Camp Pendleton, California. How can you help? What resources are there, right? And so that's really awesome.
Yeah.
It's hard to find, even in the military community, right?
Yeah.
Even with the EFMP.
Yes.
And Mariah Schmidt was on last month, and I shout her out. You all do a fabulous job, EFMP services. But this is additional support military families, definitely.
Yeah, and we all really need to come together and help one another.
Yes.
We're all in this together, but so all the challenges that you mentioned and moving from place to place, and you may not have the same supports in place, but to throw out the military is adapt and overcome. So that's what we do. We want to help our members adapt and overcome the challenges they're facing so that they can do it.
Yes. And I know for my fellow military families and moving around quite a bit, we get really tired sometime, right? And so having someone or a team that we can contact and say, we need to feel like we have a family, a support network that can help us, to encourage us, because homeschooling is a sacrifice. Been homeschooling 22 years. I love it. I'm thankful that I've been able to do it, and my kids and family have so greatly benefited. But some days are really long. Maybe most days are long. And so when you add the special needs component, definitely you need that support. You definitely that support. Our own middle son was born with bilateral congenital cataracts, and so he was EFMP4, which meant that we had to be stationed around at duty stations that could provide the services for pediatric ophthalmology, and so and learning and visual services. And so I really know from that perspective our experience in the special needs. And so families have so many different challenges. So support is always, you never have too much. You never have too much support. You can always say, I'm good, I don't need it right now. But to have to find it when you're in a crisis, that's when it's really hard. So establish support now. And this is totally with HSLDA, the special needs team. Support is here for our members. And so thank you so much. I see some have come on in. I see Pamela Stahl. Thank you for joining. So as you come in, please go ahead and you can drop questions in the comments. We're going to get to those shortly. So I wanted to ask, and this may be a question that members want to know. I know when I was a high school educational consultant, oftentimes members would say, oh, I'm so sorry for calling again. Oh, you're probably going to not take my call next time, right? And so I know that's not true for the high school side, and I know it's not true at all at HSLDA, period, but I want to hear you say it because you're our guest. So the question is there a limit to how many times a member family can contact your team?
No, there's no limit.
Yes.
And
there's a little box where we're checking.
No, there's no limit. And it's really funny, Natalie, but it goes back to community too, and relationships, and we all need support system. We'll have member families that, let's say the person calls in and maybe they talk with Krista and they hit it off really well. And then some member families are like, I always want to talk to her because she's now my person. Right. She knows my story. They've established a rapport and a relationship. Yes. So that's totally fine too. Yes. But take advantage of all the breadth of experience from the high school consultants to special needs to early years too. But certainly you can find your person and contact them as many times as you want, or you can just contact our department as many times as you need. And we know that families have, lots of children, and each child is different and unique. So you could call in and say, I want to talk to Dr. Somerville about, this child. And then I want to talk to Faith about reading stuff. So whatever you need, we want to be here to support. That's
awesome. That sounds so good. So good. We need to hear that more. Whatever you need, we're there to support. So, okay. The next thing I wanted to go ahead and say is, and you've referenced this already, but do you have a directory of outside providers who offer therapy?
We do. We have an in-house directory that our consultants can search for members. These are people that we know are homeschool friendly. They've all actually been vetted by us. We've interviewed and we've or we've established some type of relationship with this person, so we know that they are homeschool friendly, and the services that they provide. So people can call in and ask us. We also do have a list of wonderful organizations that provide various services that we know are homeschool friendly organizations.
Okay.
And there's also a directory that we have of national and local charitable organizations that can lend support for special needs as well. So we get a lot of calls and emails too of getting people wanting to get support or go through our directory to find help.
And that's a point that I didn't think about bringing out, but it's coming out now, and it's a good one, is that if you are a professional that has, the ability, I guess what you're referencing is experience, and you provide services in the special needs arena, definitely reach out and we'll, contact you. We'll respond back and we'll go through the process of seeing if you can be in our directory, because I would imagine we never have enough, right? We're always expanding the directory, right?
Yeah, we're always gleaning and meeting new people.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and of course, people retire, they're no longer in practice.
Right, exactly.
So
there's that, right?
Yeah, we're constantly adding to our repertoire of resources and people as well.
Definitely. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and put any questions that you have, viewers. I appreciate it. And I always forget to mention the replay viewers. Please put questions, because I do go back and try to respond to questions that come in from our replay viewers as well. And so I think that we are now at the time where we're looking to see if there are any questions. One last thing I wanted to also ask. Is there an additional fee for these services? Once the person becomes a member, is there an additional fee?
No.
Will you send an invoice? Will you bill us?
No.
Okay.
And I think that's one thing too that is different, because
Yes.
there's a lot of membership, I think, organizations or
Yes.
communities. And I know, being a homeschooling mom, because sometimes you join those types of things.
Yes.
And then there's often like add-on fees. Oh,
Yes.
well, if you want this,
right,
you have to pay another fee. We
Right.
don't do that. We're just a member-based organization, and
Yes.
of course, legal is the main thing.
Yes.
But we're here to just be an arm of support to equip families to make homeschooling possible.
Okay.
There's no extra fee. It's all part of their membership.
Yes, a part of making homeschooling possible.
Mhm.
So that is awesome. So I just wanted to go ahead and bring that, because sometimes that's a question that I get asked frequently is, oh, well, I'm a member, but how much additional will this service cost? And this is part of your membership. And so we love our members, and this is how we serve them, and how, like we said, how our mission of making homeschooling possible. So let me go ahead and take a look at the comments and see if you have any questions. If you're just coming in, that's fine. Go ahead and put questions in, and I'm going to scroll to see what we have here. Let's see if we have anything. I did shout out Dr. Douglas. Thank you so much for coming on. Let me see. I didn't read the rest of your comment, Dr. Douglas. And I know you, United States Air Force retired. Thank you for your service. I can't say that enough. Every time you come on, I will say that again, sir. Thank you so much. So you are home educating one neurodiverse learner. That's a term that we didn't explore too, the neurodiversity. That's something that I'm seeing frequently. And so I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit. We didn't prepare it for that, but I know that it's, just kind of what is this neurodiversity that we're learning? And so Dr. Douglas says that they are home educating one, a learner with epilepsy, brain surgery, and they've also graduated a neurotypical learner from K-12 home education. So that's awesome. Definitely. I'll go ahead and see if you wanted to just touch on a little bit or whatever you're comfortable. Yeah.
Well, shout out hi to Dr. Douglas.
Yes.
Thanks for the question. Thank you again. For serving. So basically, we used to say typical, atypical development, or we used to say, kids with special needs, the special needs population. Now it's disabilities. So neurodiversity is a term that we're using, but but we're all neurodiverse because we're all different. Right. We're all created differently. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Right. But when we use that term neurodiverse or versus neurotypical.
Mm.
It's a typically developing person without disabilities. They've met all their developmental milestones. They're not having any struggles or anything, so they're seen as neurotypical. Whereas if you're a person with a specific learning disability, such as myself, I could say that I am neurodiverse.
I get it.
But
Okay,
I just say I'm a
clarity.
person with a learning disability.
Yes,
so
yes.
this
Either way
is
to say it is fine, though,
but
right?
this is the term that's being used now.
Okay.
And we always want to be respectful because people are people, and we're all fearfully and wonderfully made again, and we all are diverse.
Right, exactly.
And so when sometimes families will run into people that will say, so-and-so's, Down syndrome kid, and that's not respectful. It's a child, it's a kid or a person with Down syndrome, and and they're neurodiverse.
Right. So learning the appropriate vocabulary is really important in supporting families with neurodiverse kids. That's right. So that, like it is with anything, right? It's important for that. So it's a learning curve for myself and others. So it's good. Thank you.
Well, and parents, they're and they're advocating for their students, but they're also educating others.
Right. Exactly.
And so that's important.
Yeah.
So I do love that term, neurodiverse.
Yes, definitely. Yes. I love it. Let me see what else we have here. Just scrolling through here. So, okay, Lisa Matson Sifford. Thank you for joining us, Lisa. Homeschooling one teen on the spectrum, also with ADHD and dyslexia. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for joining. You have, and then Pamela Stahl, currently homeschooling one child, age 5, kindergarten, plus helping children in my licensed preschool. That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
That is something else. Okay.
So working in homeschooling.
Yes, definitely working in homeschooling. That is great. It looks like we have, what else here? So they're in the chat, in the comments, you will see some links that may be helpful for you and some information about the directory that we maintain. I see a question that just came in. Is HSLDA membership state specific? And also, should you only join for your state's school age?
Membership is membership. I mean, we our attorneys do cover certain states, but the way that we serve members is within the consultant side. You don't have to be in a certain state. And, okay, well, this is my person for that state in the educational consultant side. Now, if you have a legal question, we do have attorneys allocated that they cover. They cover certain states,
exactly. Yes.
So I hope that answers
because all the state laws are different.
That's
so it'd be really difficult for one attorney to keep up with all 50 states' laws. Exactly. Yeah. So
they're experts in the law and the needs and all that in their specific.
We love our attorneys too.
We do. So, they're awesome.
So hopefully, did that answer your question? Here for laughs. I love that name. So yes. We need more laughter, definitely. So it's awesome. Any other questions that from our viewers? Go ahead and put them in the comments. I really appreciate Faith being here. This is really an important topic. Like I said, this is our second one. If you didn't get a chance to watch the one that we did last month, and time is flying, so I have to pause for a minute. Last month, it was with Mariah. Mariah Schmidt, what's her name? Yes, with EFMP for the National Capital Region. I really thank you, Mariah. If you're watching now, thank you so much. I really appreciate it that you were able to join me. And then coming up, like I said, this is a series on special needs military homeschooling. So coming up next month, which will be January, it's going to be Keisha Rahman. Keisha is a dear friend of mine. We became friends when we were both stationed in Naples, Italy. And she is going to be discussing the EFMP program from a military homeschooling mom perspective, having used the program for her twin boys. So that will be great. So definitely join us. And then the next one after that, I believe I have my dates right, is February. We will be doing TRICARE, navigating TRICARE. We know TRICARE is like this nebulous, this thing, right? That it's sometimes extremely difficult to know who to call, and we get passed along frequently. And so that's part of that support that you want to have in place. And so we will have a guest on that will be speaking about her experience navigating TRICARE and giving us tips to help us navigate the system, the medical system that we have as military. So I appreciate definitely them saying yes to coming on. And so Here for Laughs says, yes, that is helpful. Thank you. And thank you. You are so welcome. You are welcome. So any other questions that are coming through, I'll go ahead, and I wanted to let our viewers also know that we have quite a bit of resources that we have established and continue to establish for our military homeschooling families. And so this is just one topic that we are dealing with. And now, like I mentioned, a series. But if you have been following us, this is our 11th or 12th Facebook Live for military-related topics. So I'm excited about that. And we're always looking to expand. So any comments that you have, any topics that would be helpful for you, definitely please feel free to put them in the comments here. I appreciate that. And so I hope this conversation, though, today, and thank you, Faith, that has been really informative. I really appreciate it. Is there anything that you would like to go ahead and end with as we begin to wrap up our session today?
Well, sure. I mean, you mentioned resources. I would just encourage members to take a look at the HSLDA website. We have specific pages for special needs. And one resource that I think is particularly helpful for families, and if you're part of a group or a co-op or a homeschool support group, you can certainly share the links with your groups. But specifically on our pages, we have a whole section that helps parents pinpoint, like, why is my child struggling?
Oh, that
and
would be
so
great.
We have checklists there.
Awesome.
Of the different processing areas. And so sometimes parents know that their child is not they're atypical, that they're not developing typically, or something's
they
wrong.
Have something that they are concerned about, or maybe something they want to get clarity, understand it's something going on, basically.
Right. But maybe they haven't gone through TRICARE to find an assessment or to get a diagnosis.
And they just didn't get what they...
Exactly. And so the checklists are there to kind of help them maybe tease out. It's certainly not to diagnose, but it's there to help them tease out. Okay. Maybe this is an area that I need to explore more. And then under the checklist, we do have resource lists. And those are things, some of it's therapy, but some of it's things that they can do at home. Okay. Or while they're traveling, whatever.
Whatever the case,
So that would be one resource that I would really direct them to.
Thank you. Definitely appreciate that. So yes, we have lots of resources, and so that's exciting, and I'm thankful that you mentioned that. So I wanted to also mention that we also maintain a growing list of homeschool support groups that you can search, overseas support groups for our military, state, and local groups as well. And so if you are a leader of a military homeschool support group, I am looking for you. And please definitely reach out, because I really want to populate our group directory with our military homeschool support groups. When members contact us, and as you know, we're always moving around. Most of us, some military don't move, but most military families are constantly on the move every 2-3 years. And so as we're moving around, we want to know what support groups are at the next duty station. And so I really am reaching out and asking that if you are a leader, or if you're a viewer that is a member of a military homeschool support group, would you please let your leader know that you listened to me and I was requesting that person contact me. And I can be contacted directly at military@hslda.org. So I would love to get more in. Yes.
And along those lines,
yes.
If you're part of a group that caters to special needs, or more and more parents and families are making pods or groups specific to special needs, and our groups listing is awesome, because we all need to come together and help each other.
That's awesome. And I didn't know this, so I'm learning.
Yeah. So if you have a group that is a special needs group, then become part of our groups.
Yes, definitely, because for the same reasons, right? Exactly. So, also, I wanted to also say that I'm not only asking for your group, but my group is listed there. I'm president at Fort Belvoir Home Educators, and so our group is listed. So definitely, there's so many benefits that HSLDA provides for groups.
Mm-hmm.
We have an awesome group services attorney, Darren Jones. He's been a guest on one of these Facebook Lives, and so if you haven't seen that one, it's in our library, as well as we have a YouTube playlist at our HSLDA YouTube. If you go to the playlist section, I think the military one is at the top. At least when I go there, it's at the top. And so also HSLDA members also have access to a great legal team. We've mentioned our attorneys. Darren Jones is one of them, as the group services attorney, as well as fantastic educational consultants, which we have with Faith here, definitely, and we have so many more. And they are all available to help military families like ours, right, through questions and challenges that may come up in our homeschooling stateside or overseas. So if you're not already an HSLDA member, we would love for you to join us. To find out more, you can look at hslda.org/join, or for military, you can access this link to actually get directly to the military discount that HSLDA graciously offers. It's military at it's actually, let me go here on the thing, hslda.org join. Also, you can get to it as well. And there is hslda.org/military discount is the one that will take you directly to the membership as well. So either way, you can reach us if you're interested in joining, which we hope that you are if you're not a member. So thanks again, Faith, and everyone else for joining us. I don't see any other questions, but again, I want to remind replay viewers, please put questions in the comments, or reach out to me at military@hslda.org, or special needs, all the different ways that Faith explained that we can be contacted. And so I appreciate everyone joining us. And remember to share the video. Tune in next month with Keisha Rami with how she used the EFMP services with her during her military homeschooling journey. She's still homeschooling, so that would be great to hear from her. And I appreciate everyone joining. And Faith, we'll go ahead and say, have a wonderful day, everyone, and happy holidays to you. Thank you.
Thank you.